1,580 fans contributed $90,000 in prize money to the local modified and super modified drivers. While racing may be number 2 in the nation, it's number 1 in Oklahoma. What makes auto racing so popular across the nation, but more importantly, in Oklahoma? To find that answer, one must go back to those hectic days just after the closing of World War II. Midgets, the mighty mites, were the rage then, and crowds swelled tracks like Taft Stadium from coast to coast. But then the public just as suddenly turned their backs on the midgets and became interested in a new form of racing: stock cars. Ray Laveley and his father had introduced the midgets to this area back in 1946, and when the midgets were no longer popular, the Laveleys swung over to the very popular stock cars in 1951. Midget drivers such as Lloyd Ruby, Jimmy Reese, Buddy Cagle, Bob Iker, Stan Schwanberg, and Angelo Howerton quickly took to the weekly stock car races then being held at Taft Stadium. Bud Carson, general manager of the Marcar Auto Racing crew, first started out in racing in Oklahoma City with a drag race venture back in 1956. In 1957, he incorporated Marcar and took over the stock car racing activities at Taft in April of 1957. Carson operated at Taft Stadium through 1963, but also ran a minimum of 10 events, including midgets, late model stockers, and sprint cars at both the old fairgrounds and the new fairgrounds. Carson then moved Marcar's operations to the new fairgrounds track in 1964. Racing in the Southwest has now grown to a point to where a new racetrack circuit has been formed. It is called the National Championship Racing Association and includes racetracks in Tulsa, Muskogee, Wichita, Hutchinson, Amarillo, Lawton, Enid, Dallas, and of course Marcar's Oklahoma City Fairgrounds track. The 9 track operators met with the avowed purpose of avoiding conflicts and scheduling dates. Out of the formation of the Racing Association has come plans for a goodly number of championship races to be held annually, and championship points good for glory and money. Marcar during the state fair. Marcar also schedules IMCA late model stocks and sprint car programs during the regular season. At least one USAC midget race meet is held each year. Every activity, sports or otherwise, has to have a beginning, and with modified and super modified racing under the Marcar banner, that activity usually starts each October, just a few days after the closing of the regular season and the fair days activities. The building and rebuilding of race cars gets underway, and many hours are spent in backyard garages getting ready for the next season. One reason for the phenomenal growth of auto racing has been the safety factor. There may have been a time in the distant past when a race car might be hung together with a lick and a promise and a little baling wire, but those days are gone forever, due to the credit of the sport. Evidence this section from the official Marcar rule book. Entries will be accepted from all specially constructed race cars having open wheels, cage roll bars enclosed by top, fiberglass or metal body, and otherwise complying with all provisions of these specifications. The rules go on to spell out other important safety factors, such as inspection of entries must be made in advance of the race season. Furthermore, all cars equipped with a safety approval sticker are subject to spot checks at the official's discretion. There are 46 separate race car specifications, including engine specifications. All of the specs are quite rigid and cover such features as appearance, battery, body, brakes, bumpers, driver's compartment, engine location, exhaust system, firewalls, frames, fuel tanks, ignition system, roll bars, safety hubs, seat belt, shoulder harness, starters, tires, and wheels, just to name some of the more important items. One law enforcement official, after perusing the safety standards and inspection procedures, said, if similar rigid rules were enforced on private motor vehicles, the death rate on Oklahoma highways could probably be substantially reduced. 2 regulations, those having to do with seat belts and shoulder harnesses, as well as safety rules governing helmets worn by drivers, are of more than passing interest. One only needs a quick look at the statistics on deaths on Oklahoma highways to see the importance of seat belts. Almost without exception, highway deaths facts show that most fatalities occur in cars equipped with seat belts, which are not in use. In all MARCAR sanctioned events, race cars must be equipped with seat belts and shoulder harness of an approved auto racing quick release type. The seat belt shall be securely mounted to the frame, cross member, or suitable reinforcing mounting, and installed in such a manner to allow swiveling with no shear action. The belt should cross the driver's hips at a 45-degree angle. The minimum size of mounting bolt is 5/16 steel. The shoulder harness shall cross over each shoulder, fastened securely behind the driver at shoulder level, and attached to the seat belt in such a manner that when the seat belt is released, the shoulder harness is also released. The installation shall restrict the driver's movement both upward and forward. No frayed belts or harness allowed. 22 name brand racing helmets meet the American Standards Association's testing standards. Race procedure rules also contribute to the safety on the track on all MARCAR sanctioned events. Any driver who has ever received a black flag knows that his driving actions may constitute a hazard or that its car is considered unsafe to continue. The track is also equipped with safety lights which give a driver an inkling of possible trouble on a portion of the track which he cannot see. Each year at the beginning of the racing season, veteran and rookie drivers alike look forward to the start of another race season, which will see a Jackie Howerton, Harold Leap, Aaron Madden, Emmett Hahn, Melvin Rogers, Everett Humphreys, David Flatt, Stan Schoenberg, Ronnie Brotherton, or a newcomer to the supermodified scene, Bethany Fireman, Ron Clark, cop a championship in that division. Modified drivers such as Danny Daniels, Mike Kupker, Troy Machin, Darrell Jennings, Roy and Billy Patton, Glenn Hunter, Billy Patton Jr., Gary Cole, Gerald Atterbury, Scott Carson, and many others are all primed and ready, and any one of them are possible champions any year, any season. Each year, MARCAR also takes several trips south, where they promote races in Shreveport under the IMCA banner. MARCAR Auto Racing, a permanent part of the Oklahoma City sports scene, growing with an ever-growing Oklahoma and Southwest United States.